Hello, this is Sean Modry. I am super excited to be here today and presenting to you all. I just want to express really quickly my gratitude to my friends at AnnieMac Home Mortgage, Joe Panebianco, President and CEO of AnnieMac Home Mortgage, Russ and Carrie Fitzpatrick with AnnieMac Works for allowing me to be on this today. And if you don't mind, if you're with your loan officer right now or next time you see them, give them a hug for inviting you to AnnieMac Works, for AnnieMac to take the time out of caring about real estate agents. I've worked with this company for about 5 years now, and I can tell you there's no other company out there that cares about the agents as much as AnnieMac Home Mortgage does. And I hope today what I share with you makes a big impact, and this just adds to the value that they bring to you today. So, okay, guys, we're going to get started. I don't have a ton of time, and we have a ton of information. If I go through this too fast, don't be afraid to reach out to me. You can go to my website, 16strategies.com, send me a message. You can hit me up on Facebook under 16 Strategies on my Facebook page, or Sean Modry, Moudry. I'm on Facebook there too. So I look forward to talking to you. Let's get rolling. Okay, again, my name is Sean Modry, 24 years real estate experience. I've been an agent, I've been a broker owner, franchisee, and coach. I've had multiple national awards for sales, including the Hall of Fame at ReMax, 30 Under 30 Realtor Magazine. I was a Keller Williams Black Belt team leader for recruiting. I recruited over 116 agents in 1 year to my Keller Williams offices. And I was featured as a futurist in Risk Media last year. Recently, for the past 10 to 11 years, I've been coaching mortgage professionals, real estate agents, and title representatives on how to increase their business. I ran my own independent brokerage. I had 3 offices, just under 100 agents, and we recently merged with eXp Realty. So coaching is my full-time gig now. 16 Strategies. I just finished my book, 16 Strategies for Sales, and that's what we're going to present on today. If you guys need any help or any questions on any of this at any time, hit me up, 16strategies.com. I'm here for you. I'm here to serve you and help you be successful in sales. So here we go. First off is, how many of you have found out that in real estate, in sales in general, you struggle with the training that just doesn't fit your personality? I've coached and trained thousands of agents now over the past 11 years. As I said, I'm a Myers-Briggs certified practitioner, and I can tell you right now that one size doesn't fit all, and your personality does play an impact on your success in sales. And no, you don't have to act like everybody else and do everything that other coach tells you to do in order for you to be successful. In fact, that's one of the biggest mistakes I made in my career, is I didn't spend enough time with the people that didn't fit the type A personality or a type of personality in sales, and I didn't spend time with them. And what they do, they left my company, they went to another brokerage, they gave them the time, they gave them the energy, and today some of them are top producing agents that didn't stay with me simply because I pushed them in a direction that was outside of their personality profile. In fact, when I'm coaching somebody, if I ever try to push them into a sales model that doesn't fit them, and I mean a long-term sales model that doesn't fit them, then that over time their energy wanes and they fizzle out and they get doubtful about themselves, they get doubtful about their career choice, and they fail. So I have found that coaching somebody to their personality profile and giving them the KPIs and the metrics to help serve them is the best way to coach and guide somebody. And this tool that I created is going to help you. And AnnieMac Works has all the training, all the coaching you're going to need to fulfill any of these sales strategies we're going to talk about today. Okay, so this all started with my own pursuit for happiness, my own pursuit for success, and my own pursuit for fulfillment. You know, like I shared with you earlier, I was very successful in sales early on, and yet I was extremely frustrated. I began growing my business and I struggled managing employees. I struggled recruiting people to come to me. I struggled with managing parts of the business, either my other businesses or my operational side of the business, that I just wasn't good at. And I remember asking myself, how can I be so naturally gifted at some things and so utterly incompetent at other things? Because there's some things that came so natural to me and other things that I just wasn't good at. I needed to stop spending valuable time wondering on what was wrong with me, how I was fundamentally flawed, and why I'm not doing the things my coach is telling me to do, and stop worrying about changing my wiring, and then just simply ask myself, how can I be successful and happier and less stressed with the wiring that I already have? How can I input programming into my operating system that functions on the unconscious computer of my mind, right? Because if our mind is the unconscious operating system running everything behind the scenes, I need to input programming that's going to run naturally on the existing software, not rewire my whole system. So, and here's what I found. When I use this principle with real estate agents, when I use this principle with salespeople, they get positive. And when you're positive and you're focused and you're excited, you increase your actions. It's natural. You get up earlier and you want to go to work. You get up earlier and you want to do the things because you're excited about doing them. In fact, the other day I was up, I got 4 hours of sleep because I was so excited about a presentation I was going to get to do the next day. And frankly, I was working all night. And then I had to finish the presentation, 4 hours of sleep. I had to drive 2.5 hours. And you know what? I was excited. My energy was high the whole time because I'm passionate about coaching and training people. So when we're positively focused, we increase our actions. When we increase our actions, we get better results. When we get better results, we're inspired. When we're inspired, what do? We stay doing it. We push through. We overcome the obstacles that have pushed us down in the past. And we keep moving forward because we're inspired to move forward. And when we're inspired, we get success. Like Viktor Frankl says in the book, Man's Search for Meaning, success will show up simply because you stop chasing it. Stop chasing success and focus on the things that are passionate to you and you're excited about. Now, this doesn't mean that you get to go, touring the world and make 100 sales this year, right? And I'm not saying that, but I'm saying is find the parts of the business that you enjoy. Find the parts of lead generation that you love and double down on those. Do more of those and you'll become successful. The solution I created was to take the Myers-Briggs and create an assessment based on the Myers-Briggs and the DISC profile. Now, why did I base it on these two? Well, the DISC profile is great, and we're all familiar with the DISC profile. The high D is the person who's going to dominate the conversation. They're going to lead the room. They're going to be quick and decisive. The high I is the person who's going to take all the attention and want to be validated. Their greatest fear is rejection, right? The high C, they're about accuracy and detail, and they resist change, right? And the high S, the S is the person who is stable, steady, and they're there to support you, and they care for you, and they nurture you, right? We all know that. Those are outstanding observable behaviors, but you know what they don't tell you? They don't tell you how the person sees the world. That's the key. They don't tell you what's really going on inside the mind of the person and why they believe that they are there to support somebody, why they believe that they need to be dominant, okay? The Myers-Briggs was developed by a gentleman named Carl Jung. The personality profiles of the Myers-Briggs was developed by a gentleman named Dr. Carl Jung. Dr. Carl Jung wrote a book in the 1920s called Personality Profiles, and he identified 16 personality profiles that he believed were dominant personality profiles. Now, Isabel Myers and her mother, Dr. Briggs, decided to create an assessment in the 1940s to help women integrate into the workforce. They were like the original women's empowerment movement, right? They wanted women to get into the workforce and they wanted them to be successful. So what they did is they created the Myers-Briggs assessment to identify Dr. Carl Jung's personality profiles to get these women into the workforce. Now, there's been 70, almost 80 years of research on the Myers-Briggs, almost 80 years. There's endless amounts of research on this. And for me, I believe strongly in the Myers-Briggs. The challenge with it, and the reason I didn't just use the Myers-Briggs, is it's difficult to learn. I've been doing this for 7 years. I've validated thousands of Myers-Briggs assessments for people, and even I am challenged at times with understanding the Myers-Briggs. So what I wanted to do is create a simple assessment that's going to identify in a range close to what your Myers-Briggs preference is. My assessment's not going to give you your Myers-Briggs. My assessment's not designed to give you your Myers-Briggs. My assessment is designed to give you a path towards more success in sales. That's it. It's just designed to point you in a direction like a compass. hey, maybe you're off 25 degrees. Maybe you're off 5 degrees. Maybe you're right on and you're on the right path for you. My assessment's designed to give you a compass to sales to lead to more success. Now, one of the fundamental understandings about the Myers-Briggs is all about nature, that we were genetically designed to see the world a certain way. No difference than bees and ants. Bees, ants, and humans are colony-based animals. If you go back 6,000 years and we're living in a tribe and we are struggling for our survival every single day, we had to have these different personality types. We had to see the world differently. We had to have somebody who was brave enough to go hunting. We had to have somebody who was curious enough to go climb over the next mountain and see what was on the other side. Yet on the other end of it, we needed to have people who were going to stay behind and protect the children. We needed people who were going to nurture the children and make sure that we were protected, and they were risk averse because they were protecting the tribe while the hunters were away. We're designed this way. You call it nature, you call it God, you call it the universe, whatever you want to call it. Understand that we innately were designed to see the world differently. And yet what do is we spend our time in frustration and anger and stressed out because people are not responding the way that we would if we were in that situation. In fact, that's where frustration comes from. Frustration comes from our wanting others to see or do the world the way that we see or do the world. Now, not to say that nurture doesn't have something to do with it too, because our life experiences absolutely impact who we are. And it's this dichotomy between what is our innate preferences, what are the preferences that we're born with, and what are the things that we've experienced that make up our world today. And some of our experiences we have to let go in order to be more effective and more successful and more happy. And some of the areas that we need to focus on is getting back to who we are as a human being, because that will make us passionate and excited and happy again, and we will pursue happiness. Because I believe happiness comes from stable milestones of pursuit of our goals that we want. When we feel like we're progressing on the way to what we desire, we're happy. When we feel like we're not progressing on the way to things that we desire, we're just simply not happy. And that's what I want for you, is happiness, success, and less stress. Now, what can assessments show you? Here's where any assessment is flawed. Most assessments are based on vocabulary. So if English isn't your primary language, the assessment might not be accurate. If you don't understand the definition the way the assessment understands the definition, it's going to be inaccurate, okay? In the assessment and in Myers-Briggs, we use the terms preference for. This is extremely important because it's not to say, hey, I am a logical thinker, therefore I'm not empathetic. Logical thinkers are empathetic. They just don't make their decision with empathy. They make their decision with logic first, and then they think about the empathy and the impact on others second, okay? It's not to say I'm always this person and I'm not going to be somebody else. This is not permission for you to say I am something and I'm not willing to step out of my comfort zone for a period of time. Out of preference is areas in our lives where we've had to act or be or do something that is outside of our preference for so long that we look like something else. For me, I've been in sales for 24 years. Sales is about connection. It's about transfer of emotion. If I'm not good at connecting with people and transferring that emotion, I don't make a sale, especially in real estate. Now, I don't make my decisions based in emotion. I make my decisions based in logic. So if I take an assessment, I come across as if I'm empathetic, caring, and nurturing first over logic. But the truth is that's not it. I actually am out of preference in my ability to express my compassion and my empathy towards other people. Okay? That's a learned behavior. Flexing is simply this: your ability to step outside of your personality preference for a period of time long enough for you to get the result that you desire. The challenge is many of us have been tasked with stepping out of our preference for so long that our excitement and our drive for that wanes. It goes away and we're no longer excited to do it. And so, like for instance, like cold calling. How many of us have been tasked with cold calling in sales? Yeah, say I, every one of us, right? Every single one of us. Yet, in my career, I sold real estate for 15 years. I had sold hundreds and hundreds of homes a year. Yet I had never made a cold call in order to generate a home sale. I'd never done that in my 15 years of selling real estate. I learned how to cold call later in my recruiting, in building my brokerages, right? So it's something that I've learned to do. In fact, this week I made 300 cold calls to people to get them signed up for a coaching program that I launched this week. So I can make cold calls. It's within my ability. I have to flex to do it outside of my innate preference in order for me to achieve the goal. Now, if my job was to make 100 cold calls a day, 5 days a week, over time, I promise you, my energy would drop, my passion for the job would drop, my effectiveness for the job would drop, and I would fail ultimately at the goal of sales in that role, okay? The other thing that assessment can show you is your strengths. Here's the areas that you are strong, that you are outshining others around you because you have natural gifts and skills and abilities that other people don't have. Some of those might be developed. Some of those might be innate skills. And we also have weaknesses. We have areas in our lives that we're just not as good as others. And in some areas, we're completely incompetent. And we're aware of those things, right? Like for me, on a dance floor, completely incompetent. Okay? Now I can speak in front of 300 people, no problem. I enjoy it, it's fun. But I can't dance on a dance floor. That's a weakness I have. And then lastly is a blind spot. A blind spot is a behavior, a habit, or a belief, and even your personality's traits that are outside of your awareness. And the key to all of this is awareness, okay? Awareness drives it all. Awareness of a habit, a belief, a behavior, a personality type. Awareness around it allows us to adapt and to flex into what we need to adapt to flex to become more successful. Now, here's the key. There's no way to identify blind spots on your own. I'll repeat that. There is no way to identify blind spots on your own. You have to have accountability and feedback in order to achieve and to identify blind spots. 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. My pancreas stopped working due to an illness with my hormones. I go to the doctor, I go to the nutritionist, and the nutritionist says, "Tell me about your eating habits." And I say, "I'm a relatively healthy eater." At the time, I was about 206 pounds, a little bit heavy for my 6'1" frame, but not obese by any means. I truly felt like I had a healthy diet. She asked me to do one thing. She said, "I want you to download this app and record everything that you put in your mouth. Every sip of water, anything you drink, any alcohol, food, anything for the next week. And we're going to meet here same time next week and we're going to review it together." Guess what happened? She didn't even need to do that. 3-4 days in, I start to notice that my diet wasn't anywhere near how healthy I thought my diet was. Because what I didn't realize is I was snacking throughout the day, or I would stop at a gas station and pick up a soda and I would drink that nearly unconsciously. My diet was a blind spot inside my life. In fact, I was on a call the other day with a gentleman who kept interrupting me over and over and over again and trying to finish my sentence. His blind spot is his need to be right. His need to be right and to be validated. But if you have such a strong need to be right, how can you be open and coachable and trainable? And I stopped him in his tracks and I said, "Sir, your ego drives you. Your ego is driving you right now, and you have such a dominant need to be right that I don't even think I can help you." And he paused for about 10, 15 minutes and he said, "I wasn't even aware of that." That's a blind spot. Now, accountability comes from a peer group, an honest and trusting peer group. It comes from a superior, a boss. Yet, let's be honest, a lot of our bosses right now, they don't give us accountability. They don't give us feedback because they're just trying to keep us happy so we don't go somewhere else, right? So your managing broker doesn't get to tell you to do a better job or that you have a personality trait that's flawed, because if you do, you might leave and go to another company. And feedback can be an app. Feedback can be a program that you sign up with. It can be somebody It could be as simple as journaling every single day and writing out your thoughts and your activities every single day. It could be as simple as that. But the best feedback is feedback from a coach, because a coach is paid to hold you accountable. A coach is there to put attention to your intentions. A coach is there to put attention to your intentions, right? And a coach is paid to do that because that's what they're there to do. And you're going to be open to that because, frankly, you paid them to do it. So how do we reduce stress? Because my goal for you is increase happiness, reduce stress, and make you more successful. And I'm going to do that all in 35 minutes today on this webinar. So how do you reduce stress? Working with coworkers. With customers. How many of us have customers that drive us absolutely crazy? They drive us batty. Or coworkers and other agents, right? I mean, you're doing a deal with an agent, you're under contract, and they act like they're the superhero of the buyer. And they have to protect the buyer. And in fact, they're about to blow up this deal because they have such a need to protect the buyer that they're making you and making your seller frustrated and upset that this deal is about to fall apart, right? Here's the key and here's the secret to reducing stress. As I shared earlier, we are colony-based animals. Their personality is exactly the personality that they need, that we need as a society to keep our society protected. We need people who look out for everybody. We need people who protect the oppressed. We need people who are visionaries, that are strong leaders. We need people who are dominant, that are willing to take chances and willing to put us in, to protect us and to put us out in situations to stretch us and push us and to innovate, right? We need all those personalities to be successful as a colony, as a community, as a tribe, as humanity together, right? So the key to reducing stress is to stay out of judgment with them. One of my favorite quotes is, all my stress is my judgment of others. All my stress is my judgment of others. In fact, we're only frustrated with people because they're not doing, acting, thinking, or saying the things that we want them to do, act, say, or think at the specific time that we need them to do, act, say, think, or say something. I mean, think about it when you're driving in traffic, right? You're in traffic, you're on the highway, and there's a car behind you, and they're riding you, right? They're right on you. Now, you've got plenty of time to get where you need to go, and then, frankly, there's a lot of traffic in front of you, so there's no reason to push. You've got plenty of time. So you're frustrated at them behind you because they're riding you and they're trying to get around you and they're frustrated and they're blinking their lights, right? Yet think back about the time that you had to be somewhere that was super important. Maybe it was an emergency. Maybe it was the birth of your child. Maybe it was a family member that was in the hospital and you are so focused on something else and so stressed out about it, and you're so focused and you're on the highway and you run into traffic and you realize that you're riding the rear end of the car in front of you, who's got 10 feet between the car in front of it. But you're riding them because you're thinking to yourself, if they can just get out of their way, then the next guy will get out of their way, and the next guy will get out of their way, and I'll get to where I need to go even 2 minutes quicker because 2 minutes matters right now. See, our frustration comes from our circumstance in the moment and our judgment of them in the moment, not our judgment of them as a whole. So the key to reducing stress is to stay out of judgment of others and be gracious and understanding that they are doing the best they can with their personality type in the role, in the moment that they're in. And I hope that serves you today. Now, another area with working with coworkers, right? I mean, how many of us have sales, operations, and marketing teams, right? And yet what happens is we get frustrated with each other because of the way decisions are made. Right? Oh, why did the CEO make a decision like that? Why is he cutting staff by 25%? That's ridiculous. I thought our mission statement said that we're all about family in this company, and this company's about family. But if the business doesn't survive, we all lose our job, right? We also know that too. This is the decision making that conflicts between logic and empathy, right? Why aren't things happening the way that we want them to happen, the way that we would solve the world, is because somebody might be solving it with a different hat on. They might be coming at it from compassion and empathy, and you might be coming at it from logic, or vice versa. Another area of contention is in communication. Big picture versus facts and traditions. Some of us in communication, we think big and we think, we look for patterns and we look for areas of connection in the world, right? And others of us, we look for facts and the traditions in the way that it's always been done. And we're looking for a path that's already been laid out. Yet we know we need both personalities to be successful as a community. We need both personalities to be successful in our society. Because without innovation, we don't grow. But without facts and tradition and rules and order, it all falls apart, right? So these two things clash with each other all the time. And in communication, it's extremely important that the people with the big picture ideas slow down and give detail and clarity to the ones with the rules. And they listen to people with rules and the people with facts and rules and traditions to give a little bit of flexibility to people with big picture, to allow them to dream and dream big and communicate with them, to say, hey, I don't quite have the detail. Can you explain to me on a deeper level? Or can you flesh that out a little bit deeper and come back to me later and give me some more specifics on that program? And through our communication, we can reduce the stress and the drudgement and the frustration of each other. Now, how many of you are building a team or have built a team or built a brokerage? How many mistakes have we made, right? Common mistakes in hiring people, especially on operations side, if you're on sales, is hiring somebody who's similar to you. If you're a salesperson and you're an extroverted person, you like to hang out with people and you interview and you have somebody who's qualified, but they're kind of introverted and quiet. You might not hire them because you think, gosh, this would be hard to work with this person. So you end up hiring the person like you or the person that you like and you get along with. And then what you end up doing is you end up going to lunch with them and talking about the possibilities. And meanwhile, nobody's back at the office running the operations. Or if you're an operational type person, an operational mindset, maybe you hire another operational person and you have two operational people and nobody out making the sales. Does that sound familiar? Or hiring the Michael Jordan of sales, right? That's the other mistake that we make is we go out and we try to hire the top producer, or we try to hire a personality type that's going to be this strong, dominant driver person, and we end up overpaying for them. We end up having to deal with massive egos that are pushing us around and trying to change our business model, trying to take us off our plan and off our goal. And lastly is hiring a specific personality type, a personality type that we believe is going to be successful at sales. And I'll tell you, as I shared earlier, I've made this mistake so many times in business where I didn't spend the time with personality types that cared about the vision. And I focused more on the personality type that I thought would be successful. And those personality types fail, or those personality types move on. And you didn't invest the time into the ones that engaged with the vision that would be with you. It might take a little bit longer to train them. It might take a little bit longer to find them a sales strategy in order for them to be successful. And that's why I wrote this book, is to give you tools as a team leader, as a coach, as a branch manager, to help your team find sales strategies that are in alignment with them, and to be gracious and give them just a little bit more time to get those sales under them, to find a way to be successful, for you to achieve their goals and them to achieve their goals. The hiring process that I love is always hire to the vision, not the talent. Always hire to the vision of the organization. Don't hire talent, okay? You can develop talent. You can't develop people engaged in your vision, right? Always use a personality assessment. I don't care if it's the DISC, the AVA, the Myers-Briggs, 16 strategies for sales. An assessment creates a conversation. A conversation develops relationship and trust. Relationship and trust is communication. Communication solves it all. Okay, you got to open up the lines of communication, and using an assessment is going to do that. And then always, always, always provide accountability and feedback. The more feedback and accountability you can give, and this is open, honest, caring communication and accountability is important, because that's what's going to develop the relationship and the trust over time. And provide feedback. Let people know when they're failing you. Let people know when they're not meeting the expectations, and let them know when they're winning. So, again, my goal for you is to reduce stress, achieve success, and ultimately just be happier. I offer a couple different ways to do this. Is I can do a full Myers-Briggs assessment and validation. I'm going to allow you the free 16 strategies for sales personality assessment. I'm going to give you the code to that here in a minute. If it's not accurate for some reason, you may need a full Myers-Briggs assessment and a validation with a coach. And we can figure out where in areas are you out of preference, are you in preference, where are your strengths if it's unclear to you. If you would like a sales strategy session, this is where we sit down with you and we build an entire business plan with you based around your strategy, your personality, and your strategy. And we're going to help you build a pillar strategy that all other strategies fold into. Please reach out to us and we'll talk about that. We also offer group and one-on-one coaching if that's something else that you desire or you're interested in learning about. So thank you so much. Again, the book 16 Strategies is available. It's on Amazon, and 100% of the proceeds are being donated to mental health awareness, because I don't know about you, but my family's been stricken with mental health issues, and it's something that we deal with every single day. And I do not think there's enough resources available out there. So 100% of the proceeds of this book are being donated. So don't be afraid to order that book. It's available on Amazon. So next, you're going to receive your free 16 Strategies personality profile. If you would like your 16 Strategies sales strategy, you have the opportunity to purchase the book on Kindle or purchase it directly from Amazon, or you can have the ability just to download just the strategy from the website if that interests you. Again, your goal is to build a pillar strategy. Mine is Lunch and Learns. Mine is teaching people and getting one-on-one in groups in front of people. That's my sales strategy. I do trade shows, pop-bys, webinars, newsletters. Everything funnels to my Lunch and Learn strategies, and ultimately, that's how my funnel works. Go ahead now and go. You can click on this you can take a photo of this QR code, or you can go to the website 16strategies.com, and you can take your personality profile assessment and see what your 16 strategies personality profile is. And before you leave, thank your lender and thank you, Annie Mac, for taking the time to allow us to do this, for taking the time for coaches like me to share our understanding and our wisdom and our knowledge to help impact and create a better real estate community. And again, if you guys need anything, reach out to me, 16strategies.com. I'm here for you, whatever you need. I appreciate it.